All right, a very big welcome to you, my awesome viewers from all over the world. It is my pleasure to have you once again on The Truth with Ben Jokes, your trusted channel for political analysis. Peter Obi has been hitting the Tinubu regime from all cylinders. He has lashed out at them over the open display of criminality as regards the renovation of the ICC International Conference Center. Look at this. Peter Obi calls Wike's renovation of Tinubu's conference center misplaced priority. A whopping 35 billion naira was allocated for that project. Wike will just put about 2 or 3 billion into the renovation, and the rest of the money will be brought back for sharing. This is what they are doing with our common wealth. This is not about Yoruba, Hausa, or Igbo now. These are 2 or 3 men eating away monies belonging to all of us. Do you know that as we speak, FCT staff are on strike over non-payment of minimum wage? Sick people on admission were sent home from hospitals because the hospitals needed to close down. But Wike took 35 billion naira to renovate ICC. No human with a conscience at this point will still be supporting the APC. Now, let us look at the top stories. First is that shocking display of impunity on a so-called Democracy Day. Tinubu and his men trampled on the fundamental and constitutional rights of journalists right on the so-called Democracy Day today. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that, a video that has now attracted global disgrace to Tinubu and Nigeria began making the rounds. Tinubu tried to act like Peter Obi. He tried to freestyle a part of his Democracy Day address before the National Assembly instead of reading everything from the book as usual. But as he began speaking, he ran out of the right normal words to use, and his inner rascality took him to a direction that even a 19-year-old should not follow in such a gathering, and it led to a global disgrace. Before I show you details of these top stories and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you this video. This video by Senator Dixon has made all patriotic Nigerians proud. See the video.
If you have a military administration in the midst of a democracy that we are celebrating today, of all days, why did the president and the Senate president choose today, being Democracy Day in Nigeria, to read those undemocratic and unconstitutional and illegal communications to the National Assembly? I will not even bother to take constructive objections and concerns. Well, that tells you how the APC has reduced Nigeria's democracy to. I take very strong objections to that. And listening to the president's very flowery, otherwise impressive speech, let me say this. It's a good thing to make beautiful declarations of principles and show democratic commitment. Words don't show democratic commitment. What matters is actions. Actions and actions. But you cannot be celebrating democracy. You cannot be flaunting yourself as a Democrat on the one hand, and on the other hand, be trampling democracy under your big presidential foot in Rivers State. The president missed a golden opportunity to raise and deepen democracy in Nigeria by restoring on today's Democracy Day democratic and normal civil constitutional rule in Rivers State. Of all the things the president said, the president was silent about Rivers State. And today is about democracy. Today is not about repression. Today is not about suppression of the views of the people of Rivers State. Today is about respecting and upholding the democratic rights under the Constitution and the laws. These issues that some of us feel passionate about, it's not because of Fubara's nationality It's not about Fubara's party, if he has any. And these days, you can't even be sure which party people belong to. So I'm disappointed. Firstly, that the president never said a word about the undemocratic developments in Rivers State, which he has enabled, which he has brought about, which he has sanctioned, and which he continues to sustain. And creating an impression as if all is well. No. As long as any part of Nigeria is under military rule, democracy is endangered in Nigeria as a whole.
You heard that. It is such a relief just listening to this sitting senator and former governor of Bayelsa State, Dixon, speaking there. Because for a while now, members of the political class seemed to have been placed under a spell. Anyone that opens his mouth to speak will praise Tinubu. But finally, a human being has spoken. Tinubu cannot be parading himself as a Democrat when he removed Fubara, a democratically elected governor, and installed a military man in Rivers State. You may not be able to change it, but at least be vocal against it. This man has trampled on the principles, the very tenets of democracy. So how can he be parading himself as a Democrat? More elites should come out and curse and condemn him the way Dixon has done here. Thank you so much, Senator Dixon, for this wonderful speech. One day, this trial time will be over. The oppression we are going through in the hands of the APC today will not last forever. It is just a trial time. And when these times change, we will remember the roles that every single person played. Those who ran to the APC so that they can join them in oppressing the people. We will remember all of you. And the few who have stood, like Senator Dixon has stood today, will be forever remembered. Now, let us look at the top stories. On Democracy Day, Tinubu trampled on the rights of the media by denying journalists access to the National Assembly complex where he was going in to give a speech. This is a democratic abomination going on in Nigeria, a political atrocity to say the least. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that disgraceful part of Tinubu's Democracy Day speech began circulating. Let's start by taking that update on the journalists. Look at how the papers reported it. Journalists barred from National Assembly chamber ahead of Tinubu's address. Journalists accredited to cover the National Assembly were on Thursday barred from gaining access to the chamber where Bola Ahmed Tinubu is scheduled to address a joint session of the Senate and House of Representatives as part of the Democracy Day celebrations. Wow. Have you ever heard anywhere in the world that journalists were barred from a public building because a member of the executive was going to give a speech? I mean, do you realize that journalists, the media, are an integral part of democracy? Well, some of us have said many times that what we are practicing here is not a democracy. And I am glad that this regime continues to prove that to the world every day. One man takes a decision and without consulting with anybody, that decision becomes binding on over 200 million people. Even in Burkina Faso and Mali, where the military have completely taken over, we don't have this level of impunity. But the funny thing is that you will find these evil men that call themselves civilians saying that they want to return civilian rule to Burkina Faso and Mali. What a disaster. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that ugly incident, denying journalists access to the National Assembly complex, that video where Tinubu embarrassed himself and the country began circulating. Now, Tinubu was giving his Democracy Day speech, and instead of reading everything from the book, as he usually does, he wanted to behave like Peter Obi. He began freestyling a part of his address, and then all of a sudden, he ran out of words to use. And he said, take a deep breath. He said, we are making agriculture sexy by providing tractors. A so-called president turned up before the National Assembly, addressing them and addressing the nation, and he made use of the word sexy. This is easily one of the most embarrassing moments ever for this country. See the video.
Our medium-term growth target remains an economy growing at a 7% clip with a stronger manufacturing base. We must learn to produce and grow most of our food, and we are on the path to achieving food sovereignty. These and other reforms have placed the economy on a more rational footing, where critical decisions regarding the large-scale investment can now be made. We are making agriculture more sexy. We are making agriculture more sexy.
You heard that. First of all, what is the relationship between the word sexy and agriculture? I'm sure he meant to say we have made agriculture attractive by providing tractors, but he betrayed himself and hurt his already battered reputation by using a lewd word at such a time. And ever since this video began circulating, the world has been mocking Nigeria. They say, so this is who you people kept there as a number one man, and the rest of Africa has been mocking Nigeria. Even Nigeria has been mocking Nigeria. Let's take some of the tweet reactions. This tweet here by Ada says, farmers and farm will be looking more sexy from now on. And Shenwola says, farmers and plants can now have sex because he has made agriculture sexy. Very terrible. Official here says the farmers will be sexy and make more money. That is it. Everybody just mocking him. And Abdulaziz Ibrahim says he could use the word sexy because his utterances are very untrue. If he meant what he was saying, he could have used a better word which is really affiliated to agriculture. That is it. He didn't mean what he was saying. He was just dropping whatever came to his mouth. And then the rascality in him brought out a lewd word. What a shame. Jay for sure says, sexy. Farmers are now flexing with tractors. Clown. That is it. Heaven Ambassador said, more sexy. No wonder Boko Boys and banditry won't stop. There were thousands of tweets just mocking this man all over. But I have to just stop here because I can't keep repeating the same lewd word. They even shame me to they use that word anyhow. But a so-called number one man stood in front of the National Assembly and used it comfortably. And when you look at the other side of the speech, you will weep. With the state of this nation, somebody thinks that the way to improve agriculture is to provide tractors. You are not even listening to what the people are saying, or are you just plain tone deaf? The people are saying that they cannot go to their farms. They are saying that killer herdsmen have taken over their farms. They are complaining about insecurity. They are getting killed on their farms. You are talking about providing tractors and fertilizers. You give them tractors and fertilizers to do what with? To take where? To the same farms that have been taken over? You want Nigerians to believe that you are bringing about reforms in the area of agriculture, yet you made a 7 to 10 minute speech and you didn't even mention Benue State. Benue State is the food basket of the nation. Everybody knows that. That is where the most agricultural products come from in this country. Today, as we speak, killer herdsmen have taken over Benue State. The people can no longer go to the farms. 2/3 of their local governments have been taken over. And you are saying that the way to boost agriculture in Nigeria is to provide tractors, not to provide security for the farmers? How can anyone listen to this, watch the entire progression of the APC from the time of Buhari to this point and not conclude that these people are complicit in this insecurity in this country? They clearly are. And I've been saying it, Nigeria will never get out of this until we realize that the APC is the problem. Some people will come and tell us that all these political parties are the same. No, they are not. I was in this country under the PDP. We never had this level of insecurity. It was from the day APC was formed that we began to have this level of insecurity because they wanted to use it to discredit the Jonathan regime. And we will not solve that problem with the same minds that created it. That is why I keep telling Nigerians that for us to come out of the problems of insecurity and most of the problems that we have in Nigeria today, especially at the degree that we have them, we must come together, keep our sentiments aside, and get the APC out of power. But until then, make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of una. Na I dey here, so don't go away. Don't go away.